Hey. Hello, Greg.
Hello, hello.
We may have to wait a while to have a quorum.
Yep. Mary Lou won't make it today.
Okay.
There you all are.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Should be able to. I am not
Hey,
muted.
Greg.
So we've got some volume.
There we go.
Oh, there you are. Good. I have to say, first of all, that apparently I did have another commitment tonight. I have to leave at 6:30, which is not very long, I'm afraid.
Well, no, we'll try to keep it to an hour.
How are we doing a quorum wise today?
Well, Janice is going to sign on around 6.
Right.
Karen is supposed to be signing on, and if she does, then we have a quorum. We can start. Otherwise, perhaps we'll just have a really short meeting.
How many is a quorum? Is it 4?
4. And even if we open the meeting, if people leave, we can't make any decisions without 4. You have to have a vote of at least 4. So
You can have a meeting without a quorum, but you can't have decisions without a.
no, you can't even have a meeting without a
No,
quorum.
because you've got to make a decision to have a
You
meeting.
both
Right.
can't have the meeting and you can't make any decisions.
Right.
Well, that makes it.
Oh, well, I thought your idea of booking those Mondays is a great idea, because it gives us plenty of people plenty of time and certain regularity, and you've got an option for Wednesdays if a Monday won't work for many people, right? Yeah, that's very
Right,
good.
I booked them both. So
Yeah.
they're right in close succession with each other, which is a little,
Dubious.
well, we might be a little sick of each other, but
Oh, I see.
it would give us the opportunity to maybe have some continuity in what we're discussing from, well, right, we'll have to wait another month, but if we start something on a Wednesday and we meet the following Monday, be some continuity or a momentum.
Speaking of which, you both received my
Yes.
email about half an hour ago.
Indeed, I just saw it. Yeah, I looked at it.
Looks like
Downloaded
somebody is signing on. Do you know who
Yep.
that is?
I don't know. Could be Karen.
Here, Zoom user.
Yeah, Mary Lou checked in about 2 hours ago saying she can't make it.
Couldn't make it, right. It could well be Karen. We'll see, I guess.
Hi, Zoom user. Can you identify yourself for the minutes?
My name is Leslie Bracebridge.
Hi,
know.
Zoom user.
Oh my.
Serious person, you?
It's like that show on TV where, will the real person please stand up?
Well, last night
Remember
at the select board, a couple of people got booted off because they didn't identify themselves.
No, wouldn't, like, you didn't hear back from them.
What?
You just didn't hear back from them. They wouldn't identify themselves. Yeah.
Well, one of them couldn't, and then he signed in later, but one wouldn't, didn't.
Yeah.
And so the select board decided if you don't want to identify yourself, you can't be in the meeting, which.
It's fair enough, because if it was a real live meeting, you'd be there. You could introduce yourself.
Yeah, but you're not required to.
That's right. I
You don't
wonder if it's a violation of open meeting.
Well, I wonder about that too, because I've been at open meetings in person where people refuse to do.
Hey,
this.
Karen.
Yep, she's there.
Hello, Karen.
Hi.
Hey, good to hear you.
Good, so we have a
Hi.
quorum. Hi, Karen, it's Miriam.
Yeah.
We have a quorum for now.
Everybody well and happy, I hope.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Janice arrives at 6 and I leave at 6:30. We'll still have quorum, correct?
Yes. Henry, do you want to rename Leslie, just so in case people,
Rename?
you can
I like
rename
my
her.
name as is.
You want to stay that way? Okay, Jennifer. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Boom.
Everyone knows you.
You do you. We know who you are.
Yeah, no,
I'm joking. I was making, the way you said it, it sounded
Yes.
like I was getting a new name.
Right.
What would you like? Okay, so Henry, you want to call the meeting and get the show on the road?
yes, we're all gathered here today. Perhaps for a short meeting. This is my aspiration. I want to get to supper as quickly as possible. But we do have a few things to talk about. I want to initiate the meeting and get right to the agenda. Yep.
Yep.
Right. So here we've got on the agenda. First up, CPC updates.
No, first is minutes.
Oh, minutes? I don't, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Which I have here.
Approve the minutes, sorry, yes. Everybody got a chance to look at those.
Yes.
I know that Karen has not, and we just didn't have time to get them to her. What I would propose is that we're meeting on the 1st. We could approve the minutes at that time. Is that reasonable?
Fine with me.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rush. It's a pretty straightforward set of minutes. There was nothing really pending there.
Okay.
All right, so moving along to the CPC update.
No, Henry, the next item is process for distributing meeting documents. We're going to talk with that about how to get things to Karen.
Oh, yes, sorry. What would I do without you? Yeah, I've got a little letter I want to share with you. We don't need to do the letter after all. She's here, Karen.
Yes.
So, so far we've been able to, get stuff to you and everything before the meeting, but we wanted to kind of standardize it so that we don't have any confusion about when the meetings are happening and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so the thought was this, I would propose that essentially you would be a bit more active in this process in that, it would be your responsibility to actually find out when the meetings are happening. And I would be happy to entertain your call. You could call me, or you could call Grace Banish, the clerk, of course she would know. All of this, of course, since you don't have access to email, or I gather you don't have access to the internet. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So the one thing would be for you to be responsible for determining when the next meeting is.
Yep.
You can either call me, well in advance.
Yeah, either that or Mary Lou, but she didn't have any numbers to give me either at the time I called her.
Yeah. I'd be happy.
So the thing, Karen, is that the Zoom number is always, the call-in number is always the same number.
It is the same. Yes.
So you should just have that saved somewhere in your fridge or somewhere, because
Yeah,
that doesn't
I
change.
should.
What changes is the passcode and the meeting ID.
Right.
Those get assigned by the town clerk, usually on Monday of the week that the meeting is happening in. So occasionally she does it earlier than that, but we often don't have the Zoom ID info for you until Monday, which means I can't like print it out and mail it to you because it wouldn't get
Yeah.
there in time.
Yeah, because I don't have
I'm happy. I'm
okay.
very happy to drop stuff to
Yeah. Well,
the road down Montague Road.
yeah. Either
So-
that,
Yeah, so we just need to have one, there's, what's been going on is that there's been a lot of like these emails back and forth of like, who's gonna tell Karen? Has someone told Karen? Who's gonna do it? And that's like a lot of traffic, email traffic for me to monitor, and I kind of want to simplify
Yeah.
things so that I don't have to be figuring that out. I'd like to just
Yeah.
get somebody else to volunteer to do it, or
Yeah.
Karen, you
Well-
can always,
I'll call
No.
Grace.
yeah, you're not driving. Is Bill driving? Can he give you rides to pick things up?
Sometimes, not always. He's in demand here and there to do
Okay.
an errand.
Because we were just thinking that, we could have things waiting at town hall for you to pick up, and then you would, but you'd have to coordinate that with when the town clerk is there.
Yeah.
Either that, or I'd be happy to print it and you could drop by my place and get it, or Bill could come and get it.
Okay.
You
Would
know?
I
it
don't
be
know where
left
you-
in the town hall historical commission mailbox with her name on it?
It could be.
Could be. I'll coordinate it with Grace.
Well, is that what you want to do, or do you want to just arrange to pick it up from Henry? Or have, it
I
sounds
don't
like we've
even
got
know
a few
where-
options here.
I don't know where he lives. Where is he?
Well, you've been to my house before.
I've
Yeah.
been to your house?
Oh, yeah. No, you and Bill came over once.
That might be
I
some
guess
time
I've
ago.
forgotten all about it.
Yeah. I'd be happy to print it.
Yeah, Okay, give me your address.
Yeah, 111
111
Baker Road.
Baker.
Yeah,
Road,
I don't know. Will Grace print stuff like that up? And
She doesn't really want to be doing that.
yeah, well, this is where I thought we were going.
Yeah.
So,
So I think we could ask, we can put it in the mailbox in town hall, or, perhaps it would be easier either for Greg to drop it off, or for Bill and Karen to pick it up at Henry's house.
yeah, if Bill
Yeah.
can't do it, we can probably arrange something.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
If Bill can't drop by Henry's house, then
Yeah.
I will drop the paperwork off to Karen and Bill's house.
Okay. And will
Oh.
you guys just coordinate that so that I'm not responsible for figuring that out?
Yep.
Done.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll
Done.
call Henry. I'll call you, Henry.
Great. Well, thanks, Karen, for, it just, I think it got, we needed
I knew it
a
was
system.
getting complicated. I knew it was getting complicated and comings and goings and,
Yeah.
So what we can do is send you a list of when the meetings are, Karen, also. I have it, I sent to
Okay.
everybody else an email, so I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we should have a
Oh.
more stable meeting time. I already mentioned to Karen Mondays at 7. First Mondays of the month at 7.
Right, so November 1st, just around the corner, we'll meet again, which is good because we don't have a lot of time tonight. All right, should we
Okay.
move on since
Yeah.
we have there's a
Sure.
couple items, Henry, that have to get addressed tonight.
All right, tell me which ones? CPC, which is coming right up.
Well, before that,
Before that.
I was approached by the Open Space Committee because they are revising the open space the open space plan.
Yep.
And their action, if you guys have ever read the open space plan, have you guys read it?
I don't think so.
Heard of
Okay,
it.
you can get it off the town website, and it's about 150 pages, but
Uh,
it's a really good document with a lot of strategies for how to protect open spaces and green spaces in Shutesbury. And they wanted to know what kind of action steps we might prioritize in the next 3 to 5 years that we related to open space protection. And so I have a document with some possible action items that we don't have to guarantee that we are going to do, but they would be things that we might be interested in. And I'm wondering if I could, if you can enable screen sharing for me, Henry, I can
Sure. Well, hold on
make
a
me a
second.
co-host.
Hold on a second. So what do we got? More, here we go. All right, there you go.
Okay.
Should work now.
And I want.
Okay, you can see
Everybody
it.
see that?
Yep.
I'll read it out loud. So these were just some items that I looked at the previous one and I cobbled together some ideas from things that we've been talking about. So I'll just read them and why don't we discuss them one by one. Enact a scenic byways bylaw, including designating scenic roads in Shutesbury and providing for protection of stone walls and historic trees. This would be a joint effort of the Historical Commission, Planning Board, and Conservation Commission. Many towns have this. There's a state law protecting scenic byways, but it has to be adopted by the town first. So there's model language from other towns that have this bylaw. I'm thinking of playing around with a draft of it and then passing it around the planning board and Concom to see if people are interested, because it has to be voted in by town meeting, which means we'd have to get it on the warrant for next town meeting if we wanted to get it. What do you think of that item?
Sounds a good plan.
Yeah.
So what it would do is create some protections for both historic trees, which I know Don Walklock's interested in, and also stone walls that are in the right of ways on some of the more historically interesting scenic roads in Shutesbury, including some of the dirt roads that have stone walls, and also like Locks Pond Road has stone walls. So
I think it's a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
No moving of them.
right. So the next item would be this was on the last version of the open space plan. So I'm basically using it again, but I'm extending it a little bit. So conduct a local heritage landscape inventory, identify important landscapes and vistas in town, and create a list of possible methods to protect these areas in conjunction with other town boards. Areas of a landscape inventory that the Historical Commission is interested in includes stone walls, historic trees, stone structures of either Euro-American or indigenous origin, historically significant vistas. I don't know what else.
So it's almost like an extension of the spirit anyhow of the byways, the scenic byways bylaw.
But this is about getting an inventory of things that might not be protected by the scenic byways.
I see. Yes.
And then, but identifying an inventory. So it's basically a survey over town and get, a subcommittee that would identify things. Maybe different committees could nominate things to be in this inventory, and then, have conversations about how to protect them. So I felt like, this could include some of our concern about indigenous sites, also things like millworks and cellar holes. I suppose I could put it as cellar holes, millworks.
Yeah, a lot.
Yep, that's good.
One other item would be to update our inventory of historically significant structures and properties in Shutesbury. Here, I'm thinking about the MHC inventory. Some of those structures may not, it's 20 years old. It might, a goal could be to maybe do an updated inventory to see, are those structures all still there?
Sure. Makes
You
sense.
could have barns that have fallen down or been demolished.
Yep.
And why I'm putting this on here is that potentially this could be something that we could, I'm just putting a note here, we could apply to CPC grants money. That kind of an inventory of structures is considered to be a legitimate use of CPC funds. I looked and did a search of what kind of historic projects are getting funded through the CPC statewide, and a lot of them are inventories of structures.
Got it. I can actually use this anyway. Bring this up later tonight with CPC.
Yeah, well, I will forward this to you then.
Dude,
So the next thing was that we've had this conversation about historic districts and submitting an application to the National Register for historic districts in Shutesbury. Again, that could even be part of the rationale for a CPC grant would be that we would use the updated documentation in order to, maybe even have pay for a consultant to help us with the submission. And then I had another item, which is one that we've already talked about: familiarize town committees, boards, property owners about efforts to protect and preserve cultural resources in Shutesbury, both Indigenous and Euro-American, ensure that town-owned resources are handled in a manner that's sensitive to and respectful of the need to preserve these cultural reasons. I could just say these.
yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
Any other ideas of things, it's around open space, but so, for example, our archive of collection in Old Town Hall, I don't think is really
No, it's about open
part of the
space.
open space plan.
Mhm. Well, one idea that crosses my mind is that a lot of landscape, well, a lot, but yeah, in a sense, all of the landscape, most of it is privately owned, and therefore there's this question of engaging property owners about the possibility of doing this. Maybe that's further down the line, right?
That's what this was about.
No?
Familiarize. That's what
Yeah.
this item was about.
Yeah, well, but that's complicated, I would say, in that people are sensitive to having anyone, in other words, it's an occasion to communicate and appropriately about what this is, but what it entails.
Well, that's what I was saying, familiarize, meaning having a
Yeah.
conversation, education, outreach, engagement.
Would that,
Yes, okay.
would that include the garden? Would that include the garden?
Which garden?
Oh, we got
The
Janice here.
town garden.
Ah, would probably.
Right, we got Janice on the line then.
Hello, Janice.
Hello.
Janice, hi.
Hi.
We are talking about the Open Space Plan Committee asked us to give them some updated action items of priorities that we might support or be interested in seeing happen in the next 3 to 5 years. And so I listed a bunch of things on our laundry list of things that we might be interested in, including a scenic byways bylaw,
Mm-hmm.
a local heritage landscape inventory, perhaps updating our inventory of historic structures that we already have inventoried in Shutesbury, getting a historic district on the National Register. And then we were talking about just outreach to the community about preservation as being a goal.
Uh-huh. Good.
Wondering about other, of course, this is through the lens of open space priorities, but do you have some other ideas for what we might recommend?
Not really. I haven't been thinking about it, but
There's the project that Mary Lou and I have been considering, which is
yeah,
historic signage.
I was
Like,
wondering about that.
Paul Revere slept here kind of signage. Is that included in open space?
Well, that was kind of what I was thinking about the National Register.
Okay.
That's what we had talked about, because other towns that have historic districts, they're listed on the National Register.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So rather, I think it's a little we've had this conversation before that it's a little problematic to put up signs saying it's a historic district when there's no authority. It's
Right.
not-
Oh yeah, no, historic, nothing of, yes, that's right, yeah.
Right, except for
Okay.
our authority.
Right.
I mean, I
Okay.
suppose that the sign could say that, historic district as designated by the Shutesbury Historical Commission,
Right.
or something, but you wouldn't want it to be confused with the National Register because that's usually what signage is indicating about districts.
Okay. So submitting to the National Register is a good first step for that.
Right. So that kind of fell to the wayside, but we have talked about it. I don't want to get down in the weeds talking about that. I just want for this list to send out. So what else? Any other items you guys can think of right now?
Not that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. This is enough. So I have your approval to send this to them.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah,
All right. So I don't think we need a vote on that, do we?
No.
when we send the letter, well, it's official business.
Do you want to vote? Do you want to make a motion? Okay, I make a motion
I'll second it. Greg Colton.
Motion to approve list. Greg, second. Okay, you want to, should I do the roll? You can do the roll call, Henry.
All right, here we go.
Aye.
Well, and Greg Colton, yes,
Aye, sorry.
that's all right. Miriam DeFont,
Aye.
and Regetta's aye, and Janice Stone.
And Karen too.
And Karen, sorry, Karen, I miss Karen.
Aye,
Okay.
And I'm an I too.
All right.
Now, who's the other Zoom user?
That's Leslie.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Hi, Janice.
Hello.
I'm just sitting here being quiet.
Okay.
So, where do you want to go next, Henry?
Well, let's look at the agenda here. Got it. Hold on a second. Well, the CPC representative, we could talk about that. There's the,
Let's do that.
yeah, why don't we hone in on that? All right, so Zell has officially been our representative. She was designated so by the select board. She cannot make regular Thursday evening meetings, so I'm going to attend tonight and talk about you know, an alternate. You know, it likely be me, and essentially give them some idea, perhaps even talk about some of the things we just talked about tonight, right? Those inventory items that we saw tonight. But that's pretty much. Anything else to add, Mary?
Well, the process is that you can't be an alternate unless Azelle resigns.
I spoke to her today, and she's gonna go through. She's gonna follow through.
Okay, so then you need to send an email to the CPC and the
Good.
select board.
Yep.
Expressing your interest. We need to vote tonight to endorse you.
All right.
You can let them know that you were endorsed by us. And then that's that. You won't be able to vote tonight, but hopefully you can get appointed for the next time that they meet. I went to the last meeting at the CPC, and I have a meeting on 11/18 to talk about the process, and people who are interested in applying can go to that meeting for more information. They were also saying that, that it's fine for potential applicants to approach the CPC and discuss in advance a project just to kind of sound it out. The due date for the eligibility, the short application, is December 10th, and then they are meeting on the 16th. And then I don't know when the due date is for the final full application. They said that they were going to have to take a look at potentially clawing back money that had been designated for repairs to Old Town Hall because that project isn't moving. And that money was already approved by town meeting a couple years ago. I was looking at examples online of what kind of projects for historic preservation get approved. And it's a little tricky because it's usually for the acquisition of something or the rehabilitation of something. But I did see that a number of projects have been approved for an inventory of historic structures in various communities that wanted to do an updated survey or add to a survey or whatever, that creating that survey of historic structures, that document was considered to be eligible because the Historic Commission viewed the document, the inventory or survey, as being a historic resource. So the list of resources is a resource.
Right.
But I saw one town that had an archiving project and a digitization project of historic resources, of like historic photographs. And that was funded. So we never did this last year. We had two applications. One was around the CSL indigenous stuff, and then one was for signage. But we never submitted a request for anything like our trying to archive and do an inventory of our collection in Old Town Hall. So I know, Greg, at the working meeting that we had last week or the week before, you and Leslie were going to go take a look.
Which we did, and we have yet, I mean, the documents I emailed out tonight, and Karen, you won't have seen this, is very good preparation. Next time Leslie and I go, which will be the next week or so, we can start actually figuring out what's in the boxes and how much needs to be preserved.
Okay. So I think that, with that in mind, we could probably create a proposal for digitization, for inventorying, maybe even for actual digitization of some things.
Okay.
And that might be the kind of thing where having the money might be useful for that.
Yeah.
It's different than the other kinds of things that the town has paid for other historic projects, but they were like for the hearse house or the cemetery repairs. It wasn't like for this collection of documents.
Just a quick question. I guess it would be, I'm wondering if it is appropriate, if any of the members were interested in doing that kind of work, that they could be paid to do that. Is that inappropriate because we're a volunteer organization?
Yeah, we couldn't.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think so.
I just thought I'd ask.
And I think we would hire like an archivist.
Okay.
To work with us, and do some of the work. So I have not heard back from the roving archivist, who is going to give me some names of people or other places to get some information. There is this big company that does this called the New England Document Conservation Center, NEDCC. He said they're expensive. They're like in Lexington somewhere in one of those areas, and they have a really interesting website with a lot of free resources for historical commissions. There's videos and educational documents and all sorts of technical stuff that they just give away for free, and then you can hire them, which is not free. Leslie, if we were to do a CPC grant, would we have to get competitive bids to hire a contractor?
I believe that it would all fall in how much the bids are worth. Becky would be the authority on it, but is it still 10,000? Some things just require telephone calls, and then there's upper ranges that require written bids and bid openings. But I doubt that you would go with that much, at least for starters. I bet it might be best practice, which is 3 telephone calls.
So you develop a scope and you call 3 vendors.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay, these details will get ironed out.
okay,
So we've got 2 items on the table right now. One is voting me in as a CPC rep.
yeah.
2 is, well, related at this point, whether or not you want me to present some of these tentative ideas, inventories, as we discussed today, at tonight's meeting of the CPC, or do you want to wait on that until we have a better idea of what we want to promote, what our priorities are?
Well, let's do you first, Henry.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we endorse Henry as our replacement to the Community Preservation Committee.
Seconded.
Okay, take a vote, take a roll. Let's start with Karen Zonka.
Yeah, yes, I,
Thank you. Miriam Defend.
Aye.
Greg Calton.
Aye.
Yeah. Henry Geddes, aye. Janice Stone.
Aye.
Okay.
Greg's gonna have to change the spelling of his last name, I guess.
Yeah. Is that
Right.
really about the town of Hull, or is that what I'm thinking?
Oh, right. Yes. It's about
It is a
Hull,
town, yes.
Hull, Massachusetts, right?
This is a Hull in Britain as well.
Well, it's probably the one in Massachusetts, I'm sure, is named after the one in Britain.
Okay.
They're both seaside towns.
Yeah. Anyway, great. I'm in. And the second item, which you want me to present some of these ideas
Yeah,
tonight?
I think we should keep it focused. I would like to propose that we work on an application for getting funds for archiving. I will do some legwork in putting that together. With whatever you guys come up with, and we can schedule another subgroup meeting to talk about the application. If the commission wants to maybe vote that to give us permission to proceed with that. And then we would, we'd have to have the application ready before December 10th for the commission to approve it. So when are we meeting next? December 1st, right?
Right.
Yeah. My thought is that we would want to run it by these folks, the CPC, before we even start writing, just to feel it out.
Absolutely.
We don't want to write something and then they say, oh, sorry, but this is
Right.
something we want to.
So, yeah, so December 6th will be our first Monday. So it's pretty close to the December 10th deadline. So what I'm going to suggest is that we probably are going to want to have a working group meeting that's posted and on Zoom. So we can go over the draft sometime in mid-November, mid to late November.
All right. So tonight, I'm not going to really dwell on this. I'll just.
Well, I think it's okay to propose it as long as, we need to make sure that we explain it properly.
Yeah, no.
Given the bullet points, we're working on, how many is it? 4 or 5 proposals?
Yeah.
Well, wait, are we?
Well, one proposal, but there's 4 or 5, your list has gone, but there's 4 or 5 items on that list.
You mean that open space plan list?
Yes. Oh,
No, that's not for this.
CPC, right? Yeah.
That's just for their plan.
Right.
It's not for this. So what I was saying is that for a inventory and to creation of an inventory of historic documents.
Right.
Because historic documents are considered to be resources under the CPA. Doesn't have to be a building, it can be a document. And the definition of what's historically significant is either it's on some sort of, state list, or that we as a historical commission determine that it's historically significant. So if we determine that our collection is historically significant, which I think we all would agree, then we're talking about the inventorying, indexing, and
Yep.
then digitizing.
Yeah. Well, I could mention it just briefly, and just as an example of something we're considering seriously.
Yeah, that we're working on it, and that
We're
want to
actually working on it.
submit
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we're going to submit one. I think we should give them a heads up about that.
Okay.
I have
Well,
a,
Is that agreeable to everybody?
yep,
I assume.
Sure.
Okay.
We should plan to meet, or some of us should plan to be at the 11/18 meeting of the CBC.
Well, I gather I would be. for
You would
sure.
be there, yeah.
No.
Thursday. Is that one of your Concom meetings? That's the third week. So no, right?
Can't be, because,
Okay. You're second and fourth or just fourth?
yeah, we're second, we must only have one meeting in November, because we're meeting the 11th.
Okay.
Yay.
I had a question about another possible project, a
Yeah.
small one, I think, although I really don't know at this point what the cost is. But the guide board, message board, mileage board, whatever you want to call it, next to the War Memorial is really flaking badly and should be repainted and needs relettering as well. And so Miriam and I talked a little bit about, who might be to check on, and we have a couple of people first for the War Memorial, but also maybe potentially could at least give me an estimate for the guide board and to get that redone. And the person who the one in Montague Center was redone in the last year or so, and it looks really nice. And I did contact that historical commission to get the name of the person that did it, and he wasn't interested in the War Memorial, at least not at the time that I contacted him, but I would try again. But at any rate, I have no idea how much it will cost or not cost, but conceivably it'd be nice to be able to, the project that I would think the CPC would agree to, and would be a nice, concrete, visible thing
Yep.
to.
So
Bob
we have the
Groves
funds-
did it
we have the-
last.
We have the funds for the War Memorial, we just can't find a painter.
Yes, so I'm going to hunt down some new painters and see what they say.
Did you speak to John Moore?
And no, not yet. No.
I,
Bob
you know,
Groves did it last time.
Yeah, but it really needs to be scraped and repainted. So you're
No,
saying,
I'm just saying that he
Yeah.
might, for the right amount of money, he might be willing to do it again too. I
Did he do
wouldn't
the lettering
exclude
too?
him. He did the lettering too.
oh,
okay,
If you're looking for someone to contact,
yeah, I will, thanks.
I'm not saying you
Yeah.
need to do that. I just thought you'd be looking for.
Yeah, sure.
well, it would be really good to get the War Memorial done, and maybe then he could give you a quote on the, and then I gave you another idea.
Yes. So I will try to track down those different things and at least I had put together like a little explanation and everything when I did the vendor request before. So I'll just dig that out of my file folders here and have something to send out to people, try to contact
There
them.
must be like companies that specialize in historic preservation stuff. I wonder if if we looked at, the Community Preservation Massachusetts group, whether they would have vendors that specialize in stuff.
Yeah, maybe, or Mass Historical might. I mean, it's just a small project in a tiny town out west. So I'm not sure that, big vendors are going to be interested anyway, but that's a good idea. At least check.
Okay, well, that sounds
Oh.
great. So we should do a vote. So I would move that we authorize Janice to obtain quotes for a guide board repairs and consider a CPC application for that.
I second it. Going around, I guess Greg comes from Greg Colton.
Aye.
Karen Zronka.
Aye,
How did I do in the pronunciation?
Close.
very good.
Okay. Miriam Defoe.
Hi.
Henry Geddes, I. Janice Stone.
Aye.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
There is one other item there on the list, Shrab Grant and the Center of Town painting.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple other things too, but before we get on to that, while Janice is here,
Yep.
Yeah.
have you had a chance to look at minutes?
No, but I will. I'd sort of like just, put them aside after a certain point, but
Okay.
I will. I
Well,
promise
the
I will.
reason is that if I'm going to be putting together the annual report, I
Oh,
kind of
yes.
need the minutes.
Okay, yep, I'll
'Cause the
definitely,
Item number, the next item was the annual report, which
okay,
I need to work on. But I need all the minutes.
okay.
And there were some of them where I wasn't at a meeting, but there were minutes to be approved, and I just don't know if they were approved with edits or.
Mhm. So first I'll see what I've got for drafts and then I'll go through and see which got approved at what meeting.
Yeah, just look at my email that I sent you.
Yeah. Could we then approve all the meetings on Monday, the 1st of November?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That works.
Yeah.
The minutes, some of the minutes may be a problem if we don't have people that were there at that time. That's sort of like why I had that one on the agenda for ages from, was it last November or whatever it was? I don't know.
I thought you finally did get that voted in.
I can't remember now.
Well, we'll sort it out.
We kept bringing it up, but then I think the last time maybe one or two people said they hadn't read it recently, and so it went down again. As far as I remember, I think it went to another meeting or something. I'll see what I can find.
Well, you got the list of what
Yep.
she doesn't have, so.
Yep.
Just send them to me. All
Okay.
right.
Okay, what else is on the agenda there? I only see unanticipated business, but anything else that,
Well, the Southbrook, we were going to talk
oh,
about.
Southbrook, of course. Yeah. Well, Janice, do you want to say a word or two about that? Janice and I went out with Leslie and Eva.
Mhm. I guess I would say Henry and I went over and looked at the proposed bike trail on the Southbrook property closer to the beach and boat ramp. And I think we saw probably the same things that we saw on the first trip out, that there are a couple places where there is a crossing of an intermittent stream channel. There is one place where the wetland is very close to the trail. So those are like conservation issues, but we didn't see anything in the way of stone features. Actually, it's not a very stony area for the most part. So we didn't see anything there. And Leslie and Eva, we split forces to try to get more done, went to the E3 property, and where we had seen stuff before. And so
Nobody walked the higher ridge that's flagged, because up in the upland area, there's an area that's flagged for the biking trail.
right, that's where we were. We were on the upland one, including the Esker, and up and down the side of the hills and back
Okay.
and forth. There were times we could turn around and see pink flags in every direction within our view.
Yeah.
It was a big snarly mess, and I just can't believe that anyone will follow it.
Moreover, it seemed really short. I mean, we walked through that thing and it seems short to me, and doesn't really keep anyone from really going off the track. There's lots of places you could go on a bike there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But we didn't see, in terms of historical stuff, we didn't see anything on the upper parcel.
No.
You saw the cellar hole.
That's on the lower parcel.
Okay, I'm confused about which parcel. Okay.
The one that's closer to the beach, and the line is approximately where the sign is that we parked at and met the previous time.
Yeah, so right when you get onto the property from the sign
Yeah,
up on Locks Pond Road, there's two cellar holes,
Yep.
one on each side of the road.
yeah.
Path.
The road, the bike path was much higher than that further north. It wasn't near there. So we just looked at the bike path.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So in essence, I took photographs. The expert here was Janice.
Ha,
And I've sent those out, so we're gonna we'll have a map of that, and you know. we can
Who
make
did you send them to?
Eva,
Oh,
she volunteered to do it,
great.
to come up with a map.
Um,
I don't know if Leslie wants to add anything.
Yeah.
She was out there with Eva.
I showed Eva the things that we had seen in the spring while Eva was photographing and various areas. I continued to scan and found a few things that I have not seen before, which she added to her list. Eva wasn't quite sure what her job was out there, but she was enjoying her Sunday morning, taking
her
pictures.
job was to be our designated helper without having designated her.
She thought she was maybe supposed to be teaching Janice how to put these into,
GPS
yeah,
or GIS, one or the other. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
it
that
was nice to get
seems
her-
more to be a desk job than out in the field. So as I say, Janice is correct that I showed her all the stuff that we had previously seen in the spring, but we saw some other things also.
I had gone out there a couple weeks ago. You guys knew that with Sarah Kohler, who saw a lot of things, but anyway. I want to give you an update about Esri mapping, the ArcGIS. I have not purchased the license yet because I realized that the easiest way to do this is for me to pay for it and then get reimbursed by the town. And I wanted to make sure that the commission agreed to that. Otherwise, I think I have to try to set up some sort of deal with invoicing, and I feel like that could just end up getting really complicated.
It's quite reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Do I need a vote? Anybody know if I need a vote to authorize me to pay for it? We already authorized me to go get it.
I think maybe to pay, or the source of the payment, because it may be different than we had originally said. How much was it going to be? Was it 300?
500.
500? I think that's worth a vote, just if there's any
Okay,
questions.
so I make a motion that the commission authorize me to buy the license as approved out of my own funds and get reimbursed as approved at the last meeting.
You know, you'll have to pay the tax if there's a tax on it, because the town won't be able to pay it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Unless you can get them to use your tax-free number when you order it.
okay. Well, because the invoicing thing with these companies, it's just, I hate doing purchase orders with nonprofits.
Yeah, you would have to go through Becky. It would get so complicated.
I hate it.
I'm just warning you in advance, and
But
maybe
I might just eat the tax.
and it might be that if you have your tax-free number there, they'll take it with you.
Okay. In the meantime, I just wanted to share with you that I went and purchased my own ArcGIS account for $100. So I have an account. So while I have my ample free time to try to learn how to manage it, Lisa McLaughlin has been trying to transfer her data over to my account. And we've been running into all sorts of snags. And so this is kind of a trial run. She's supposed to get back to me because she couldn't figure out how to do it properly. She did transfer it over, but I couldn't open anything because she didn't give me the proper permissions. So we have to figure that out.
Good.
I don't know if I'll ever get the data, but this was the data that we paid her to map for us. So she can just give me the data, the photos that it was based on, and I could get PDFs of the maps. I think I already have those, but really it'd be nice to have it in ArcGIS.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's what that is.
We need to vote on, again, using the fund.
The motion to allow me to request reimbursement for me to pay for it myself and get reimbursed.
Right. I second that motion. So we go around and Greg,
Aye.
Karen Saronka,
Aye.
Miriam Defan,
Aye.
Henry Geddes, aye. Janice Stone.
Should we even raise the issue, Henry, about the email? I feel like we should. The commission should know. So,
Yeah.
I got an email after our last meeting from Mary Lou is not here, asking me not to purchase the license. So because she wanted the commission to reconsider, revote on it. And because she's concerned that it's exorbitantly expensive and we're gonna get locked into a contract we can't get out of.
We can certainly get out of it, can't we?
What? Yeah.
It's an annual
you don't renew
subscription.
it. You just don't renew it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And you back up your data anyway.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's a one-time thing. And then we decide whether it's useful and whether we want to try to get another board to share some of the cost.
Well,
So, I just want to share that because, that email was a deliberation. Because it was asking me to change an action that had been approved at and by the meeting, the minutes at the last meeting. And so I just bring it to the commission's attention. The reason why I didn't get the license was not because of her email, it was because I realized I needed to get permission to get reimbursed.
purchase orders, etc.
Well,
So, Miriam, the one that you're going to get for the 500, will that be just in your name, or how will that be set up? Will other people be able to try using it at some point, or?
I think that I would be the administrator for it,
Okay.
but it would probably be set up as a historical commission account,
Okay,
using the historical commission email.
okay,
And then I think that you can enable users. So that's where, you could be a user.
and would that be set up on the computer at the town hall in the Concom Board of
No,
Health room, or
it would be
where?
through ArcGIS.
So
Yeah,
any computer.
you can do it online through,
Yeah.
okay, online access. You don't have to be at a particular computer.
No, that's what I want to get. The account that I got
Yeah.
myself is all online.
Oh, okay. Mine was always just to my computer and that's it. Okay.
no.
What's also nice, I had a conversation with Eva, which was kind of cool, and she was telling me about how she does mapping with her iPad with a GPS enabled, cellular plan iPad. And apparently ArcGIS has an app for the iPad so that you go out and take your pictures and then it automatically uploads.
Mm.
So you're
And
doing that at the same time.
What?
So you're doing that at the same time, which
You're
sounds,
mapping and taking you're taking the data. I thought that was pretty cool.
Only on Mac, is that?
Well, no, it has to be an iPad, and so it's not a Mac.
Well, but
It's
iPad,
Apple.
Apple, sorry. Yeah.
But it has to be one that has, a newer iPad that has a cellular program with it. I have an iPad, but it's not got the Wi-Fi and cellular.
yeah.
Right.
More for that.
Right. So what do we want to say about Mary Lou's intervention? Except that it was voted on. I mean, we voted on appropriating those funds. I believe that, if I'm correct, right, that we voted on this last time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Unless there's a will here to have another vote, I see no point in
Well, if Mary Lou was here and asking that question, what would be the procedure?
I believe that if you're opposed to something, you can't ask, I may be wrong, but I know that at town meeting, Leslie, maybe help me out on this. If you were voting against something at town meeting, you can't ask for a recount. That only somebody from the winning side can ask for a recount. Otherwise, like at a town meeting, you could just wait till a bunch of people left and then get the vote again and have it prevail, because people might leave thinking they'd already voted. So I don't know in terms of the procedure with town boards, but as a process issue, I think it's really hard to ask us to re-vote on things unless there's new information that we didn't consider in the first place.
That's a good thought.
I agree.
Yeah, I think because then we can't rely on anything. I mean, if that had been the case, how would we act if everything could be reversed? I mean, would you, vote next week that you won't reimburse me and I've already spent $500? I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fairly clear that our budget allows for $340 of it, right?
Yeah. And then we were going to get,
And it's actually going to cost us whatever remaining sum, $160, right?
$140.
140. So it's pretty cheap considering. I mean, we have to spend the money anyway.
We have to spend the money. We haven't spent it yet for this fiscal year. I think we lost the money for last fiscal year because we didn't spend it.
Well, I think there's no argument there.
yeah.
Why doesn't someone just make a motion right now to vote to affirm what you voted last week and add in that Miriam will be purchasing it or whatever those specifics are?
Okay.
And then you see if you have a problem to begin with. But if you reaffirm your vote to purchase in the first place and then add in the part about Miriam purchasing it, I think you'd be covered.
Okay, so it might read this way. We want to vote on reaffirming our vote from date now escapes me. The last meeting where we approved funding for this purpose of buying the software, Esri software. And secondly, we want to approve what we just discussed and approved that Miriam be reimbursed for the charges.
You moving that?
Yes, so it's 2 items. Yeah.
Did you need to designate which funds were coming from which account or no?
Which account?
Well, we
We
already
agreed
did.
last time.
We
Okay.
already did. So why don't we just keep it simple that,
Yep.
because you just voted that I can get reimbursed.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple that you're voting to reaffirm the purchase of an Esri subscription for
Yeah.
$500 per year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a second?
I'll
we hear a
second it. I'll
Okay,
second it.
we hear a second. Let's go around. Greg Colton,
Aye.
Karen Zwonka,
I,
Miriam Defont,
Aye.
and Geddes, aye. Janice Stone,
Aye.
pass. Any unanticipated business? Anything last item?
I just had a quick question on the vote that we did before for voting you as on the CPC. Was that as an alternate to Azell or instead of Azell? Which is it?
I'm actually going to be
Okay.
the rep.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Okay,
my bedtime.
I think we did it. It's
Really?
35.
There's
1 hour. Thank you all very much. And I move to adjourn the meeting. Anybody second? Do we need to vote on that?
I'll second it.
Okay,
Let's go
Karen.
around the room. Greg Colton,
aye.
Karen Zwonka,
I.
Miriam Defont,
Aye.
Henry Geddes, aye. Janice Stone.
Aye.
All right, so be it. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Aye.
Hey, Janice, can I keep you on for 1 second? Ask you a question?
Yep.
There's no chance you can come out and look at that site tomorrow, is there? I know you're working probably.
I'm not working, but I have a high